Alright everyone, Lego is back with a small project again. This time we're keeping in the same vein as the last few projects, or at least some of the last few projects. We are doing another Indiana Jones theme thing here. So what you see me do is make the background. Quick, simple silhouette for making some mountainous terrain, and then I'm making some quick and dirty tests of what the composition is. So if you caught that glimpse, you already know where I'm going with this. I am taking the Ark of the Covenant from the first movie, and I am giving it a rough trace. I'm not too concerned with the details, frankly, which is why I'm okay with this low quality screenshot and the low quality of the actual details here. I'm missing quite a bit of the profile, some of the cuts, bevels, and stuff. I don't care. I don't need it to be that detailed right now. I just need the side profile, roughly speaking, of the Ark, and I wanted preferably to have a photo of the actual carrying arms, the carrying poles as well, to give it that signature look. Having made the bottom of the Ark, I'm now doing the top of the Ark, the lid as a separate piece, because in a moment I'm gonna make that fly sky high. So all I really need here is the main component and the main silhouette of the lid. So you have the cherubs, you have some of the big um, decorational pieces with some holes in them, so you can. It's not a solid piece. There are these thin rails of thin structures that are not completely solid. So I'm making up some quick holes as well to give it that signature profile. But really, at the end of the day, you can tell it's the Ark of the Covenant. You can tell it's a very iconic profile. You don't need to see every single bevel and detail, at least not now. So having made the rough outline of the thing, and I just sort of hand placed it down there. It's not strict placement either. Having made that, I'm now making the main attraction of this piece, which is the moment when the lid is opened and the wrath of God or whatever will spill out. I made the main silhouette sort of beam wave thing in the center of the project here, and now I'm sculpting the mesh background to match that intense flame. It is the exact same procedure I used in the Never Tell Me the Rules project, and to a lesser extent, it's also the same process that I use when I made the um, Nebulon B12 project. It's the exact same thing. It's a combination of blurs, lightsaber effects, neon effects, whatever you call them, and some smoke, coupled with a very, very simple mesh background. But it adds so much, and I love it. Every time I do these kind of things, it's amazing how a few simple effects stacked on top of each other can give such a profound and frankly really deep effect. Like it's not flat at all. It really looks like it has some depth to it. And now it's just a matter of having made that as the light source of the whole project. I need to make that first, and then I can sort of match the environment to that tone, to those reflections, make everything seem like it actually exists in the same place and time. So main light source first, then adapt the background. Don't do the opposite; it never works out. But having done that, just the main body, so I know how much it's going to take up space wise, and I know sort of the composition and the the framework I have to work with. I'm now marking out the actual text segments. Now, this is the other main attraction of this piece, not visually but intellectually. This is Unfurled GC, which was a bit of a thought experiment on my side. And then I took that to a fellow creator, which I have seen use GC before, one of the few people that use GC. So I wanted their opinion on whether or not this was feasible. My own quick check vision proof of concept thing failed horribly. It looked like garbage. So I was actually not sure this was possible. but they came up with one or two, shall we say, aesthetic decisions that actually made this work really well. And I just ran with it and said, "This is it. This is good. This is Unfurled GC now." So that's what you're seeing me do here. It is not dissimilar to the unfurled versions of CC and Timekeepers, which I have previously made. It's also not very different to the unfurled TARDIS console, which I also sort of spearheaded a while back to see if I could. You read outside to in. You read according to the direction of the start marker. It's all the same rules as GC basically. You just have to be a little more strict in where you place your various modifiers and keep consistent about it, so you don't mistake inner vowels for modifiers and the opposite. Now, the base shape of the hex was probably the biggest decision we had to take regarding how to represent that without making up any new rules necessarily. And this is the setup we came up with. I say we, I don't remember who got the idea, but anyway, just making a hex base piece just float in space, just a little like a small shard of a bigger polygon to represent the hex shapes, and then obviously circles for the circles, and that turned out pretty well. This is a nice little piece that, even though the word count is small and the amount of variation in the amount of letters per word varies wildly, which is normally a very bad thing for unfurled scripts like these. In this case, it works out pretty well because I happen to have a composition that allows for a much bigger word to be placed organically within the actual framework. So it seems like the whole thing fits together like a glove, which is in retrospect pretty nice, even though that was not originally the intention. I actually had something else in mind to cover my bases when it came to the extra amount of letters in the last word. But if anyone asks, this was totally the plan, and it worked out beautifully. Now, last thing here is the actual color of the text. I first wanted to try and see if I could match the color gradients of the actual flame to keep the whole thing in the same sort of tone, but it was a little bit too dark, and I really didn't want to highlight it with some backlighting. That would look horrible. So instead, I ended up doing what I thought I would have to do originally, and made some golden text instead. It was my plan to do this, but I also would have hoped kind of that I could use the original color palette uninterrupted. Now, the last thing I did here was add a little bit of two-tone to the arc of the compliment itself, mostly to get the flat sides to not be so flat. I really mainly focused on getting the relief on the side a little bit of spotlight, and I did that. Didn't want it to stick out too much, just a little bit. I added a little bit of a shadow to the bottom as well, so it actually looks like it stands on the ground. And looking back at this, taking a step back and looking at the overall effect and the picture, I'm really happy with this. It's a short project, sure, but it's a very visually, like it grabs your attention, and anyone who knows the scene will immediately know what it is, and then look at it and go like, oh, I know that. I can see the lid floating out above. I can see the whole thing unfolding, and it's a simple but powerful image, and I'm really pleased with the visual effects of this, and of course with the, I guess, new variant of GC, which is Unfurled. It's GC, but unfurled. I don't know what to tell. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, and I will see you another time. Bye.